tell those people to be quiet. Good evening, everyone. We'll try it once more.
Colleen.
Our Parks Department and PD will join us. This is Meadows Place City Council regular meeting agenda. This is Tuesday. Hi, cousin. That's my cousin. This is Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. It is 6:30 p.m. We are at Meadows Place City Hall, calling this meeting to order and announcing that we have full quorum with all council present. We will ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which Tanner Cabezas will lead us in. Just get us started, okay? Do you remember the first words? And Jim Fenwick will will lead us in the invocation. Tanner? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to gather here today, God. And I just thank you for Meadows Place and for giving us this amazing place to live, to raise our kids, to raise our families together. God, I thank you for all of the staff, the volunteers, the first responders, everybody who works, especially as we get into the business of the city. God, I just ask that you God, we thank you for all that you continue to do. We thank you for your protection.
Amen. Thank you, Tanner. Thank you, Jimmy. We're on to item B, which is started off with some reports, and we've got a little extra this time, so we're going to get started. We have the Chief of Police, Gary Stewart, to lead us in the reports. And Chief, if you would get us started.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. As always, each reporting period, we start out with our number of accidents. This reporting period, we had 8, total number of arrests, 16, 2,101 calls for service, reports at 53. Our traffic, number of reports are 53. Our traffic citations issued were 359 with 589 charges. City ordinance violations, we had 0 issued for citations. City ordinance violations, again, we're going to talk about below. We did have some contact. Warnings issued with 106 with 127 charges. City ordinance violation, that's the one we'll talk about below, were 7. And total activity count was 2,901. We had 2 assaults this past month, 3 burglary of motor vehicle, 0 business or residential burglaries. The 7 city ordinances down below were for 6 were for solicitors. We had contact with them, 3 noise complaint, and 1 for loitering. We had 7 the city ordinance. We had 0 criminal mischief. We had 1 fraud and 2 robberies, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Total property checks was 1,359. Thefts were 3. And on our TLC program, we had 51 contacts with passing, 25 with failing, with total 76 contacts. Moved on to the chief's notes on page 1. The 2 BMVs, we had 1 commercial, 1 residential. The 2 assaults, you can see those locations that had escalated, and some of them are being prosecuted. As we move on to the frauds, on page 2, we just had the robberies. We did have a critical incident early in the month, end of August, that did involve gunfire. We had several suspects that were attempting to burglarize a vehicle. The homeowner did come out. They did exchange gunfire. We're currently recovering evidence and have some limited video that we're working with, but no one was injured. However, there was somewhere around 16 rounds fired between the 2. Moving on to the page 3, the thefts. You can see those locations. They're our typical locations, including Northern Tool and, of course, Murphy. UUMVs, we had 0. Flock safety alerts from our flock camera system, we had 107 hits. Of those, 21 for stolen vehicles, 11 for sex offender alerts, 29 stolen plates, 27 gang member terrorist alerts, 2 missing persons, 2 warrants, 1 protection order, and 14 other agency hot lists for specific crimes in their area they wanted us to investigate. We had 0 violent person contacts. Adult arrest on page 4. You can see we're up 16, and those charges are going to be ranging as we go through this. Part of that, you'll see a highlighted notation there for Operation Sapphire, and I'm going to go over that later, so I don't want to entertain any questions or anything right at this point. Of those 16 arrests, we did have several warrants out of other jurisdiction, UUMV for our flock hits. We had DWI, interfering with public duty, reckless driving, and 3 other moving violations. And on an update on the one case that we were working with, if you remember the catalytic converter thefts that we had several months ago that we actually recovered the vehicle and the cell phones, we've identified those suspects and are pursuing charges. With that, that update on that case is that CID assisted HPD homicide detectives with a cell phone recovery. The phone we recovered is related to a homicide in Houston. We were able to lift prints off that. Our prints led to the hit with Houston being able to identify that we had recovered that and let us know that was part of a homicide. We are working with them to download the information. Operation Sapphire. I know a lot of people have questions, and I would like to inform you that this operation was initiated by Fort Bend County District Attorney's Human Trafficking Division, and it was facilitated by multiple agencies, including us. They are listed below. We had over 60 participants, including undercover law enforcement officers, DPS, TABC, victims, YMCA volunteers, victim counselors, and sexual assault nurses. The operation was over a 3-day period. I'm not going to go into the details because we still have open cases on this, and it is not my case or my initiative to disclose anything since there's not been a media release. But if you have any specific questions over those 3 days that I've outlined below, if you can contact me individually, I'll be able to share a little bit more information, but we don't go in public right now. I will say, however, and this is the important part that everybody wanted to know, during that we had 16 rescues. 15 females, 1 male. At arrest, we had 6 with 10 charges filed. We detained 4 with charges pending and towed 4 vehicles. Moving on to additional notes on page 8. The first one's always there because COVID, which is hopefully disappearing soon, but we're still following those guidelines. We're currently going under our Criminal Justice Information System security audit. Also, our new door access system and new WatchGuard router in place. As y'all know, too, that the key element is part of the security addendum. Mesa door access, all ID cards have been completed. Should be to everybody. We have working with Mesa to schedule phase 2, which will be the exterior doors. We're going through that process now so that you'll be able to use those key cards. We're actively also working to fill our 4 full-time open positions and 1 part-time position as we speak. We do have a new person on board, and since she's in the room, I'd like to introduce Detective Avalos, who just started with us. Stand up. She has many years of experience and comes through as her last place of Rice University in the Detective Division as well. Our new storage container is in place, PD and Public Recs and Public Works. The lighting and security divider is in place for PDs. We had to have a divider for property in there, so we've completed that. Got a little bit of electrical to do, and then it'll be in full operation. New PD vehicles are almost ready. We had a couple of little issues that we had to send them back to fix some of the electrical. And then the big one is National Night Out is next Tuesday from 6 to 8. I'm sure my dispatchers reached out to you all about if you're going to be participating or riding. If you have not responded, please do, just so that we can make sure that we have the room and capacity for it. Also, the parties, I'm going to get with Cameron. We just discussed this earlier so that he can disclose those. At this time, we only have 5. And then we're going to do a video to encourage others if they are having one to let us know so that we can make sure that we attend. And with that, that completes my report.
Before I turn this over for council questions, Chief, let me offer my congratulations on Operation Sapphire and the success of it. A great deal of it went to the fact that the facilitation, both the property, the people, was run very, very well. I know you had a big hand in that. I'm real proud of the fact that Meadows Place was part of that operation and facilitated here. Boy, there for 3 days, we were the safest place on the universe, I think.
We were.
It was there. Now, if I understand what you so subtly told us, is that we've got some information here. Enjoy it, look at it, but shut up. So I've got that.
Thank you.
Do you have any idea when the DA's office will be
They
doing
may not. It depends on the cases. And again,
That's
since
what I was
there's open
asking. Okay.
cases, it's still an active investigation.
So until then, we just sit down there and be thankful that y'all caught 16 people, arrested those people, or saved 16 people, and arrested those folks. And I'm real thrilled. Congratulations, Chief. And I want to say to any of the police officers that are involved in that, I noticed y'all were stepping a little taller, laser focused during those days. You could see the difference in it. And they were just on top of their game, Chief. And
I'm real proud of my team. They did a very good job.
I think so, too. So anyway, that's it for me. Congratulations on getting all that done. I like the trailer out there, the container out there. And y'all are ready except for some wiring?
Some minor stuff, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's it for me. Council, anyone else have anything for the chief? Oh, run now. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next report, and we were affected by COVID last month, so we're having code enforcement and parks this month. That's in case you're wondering why they're there. So, code enforcement departmental report.
Good evening, Council. This is in code enforcement's fourth quarter report. Total open violations for this quarter were 382, and closed were 355. Total weekend days worked were 4. Total cases open were 246. Cases closed were 250. Cases to court were 8, and 4 citations were issued. On July 28th, I was issued a ticket writer, printer, and received training on the use of these devices. The 4 citations issued included 2 citations for 3 dogs at large, 1 citation for improper tree clearance, and 1 citation for junk abandoned vehicle.
Good.
I'm sorry.
All right. You got it, or you want me to finish it?
Yes, sir. Fort Bend County Animal Services submitted in September a report for the month of July. There were 2 calls for service with 2 impounded, 1 dog and 1 stray. Okay. The second page, top 5 violations for this quarter were 90 grass and weeds in excess of 9 inches. Thank you. 36 grass and weeds and flower beds. 25 bandit signs. 23 dead landscaping trees. I'm so sorry, guys. And 21 junk and abandoned vehicles. Those were mostly because of the registration had gone out of date. The next page, you can reference the first set of photos for case 646. I received an email complaint with photos about a garage needing repair on Scottsdale. The owner requested an extension to comply by October 11th. And referencing the second set of photos, case number 732, while inspecting this past weekend, I found a contractor working on the aforementioned garage without a structural permit. A stop work order was issued. I did allow for the contractor to temporarily stabilize the left wall so the roof would not collapse. The structural permit was applied for today.
Did they apply for the permit?
Yes, sir, today. The final set of photos for case number 639 is a property on Meadowdale. We moved to abate the overgrown property since the owner has passed. The front yard was abated today, and today, and the rear is scheduled for tomorrow. There are no family contacts at this time, and I'm currently investigating to find a responsible party. The last page of this report is the updated door hanger violation notice. I collaborated with Cameron to achieve this new and improved door hanger. I wanted it to look more professional, clear, and easy to understand. I also wanted to add a QR code for code enforcement on a form that I thought would be the most effective and helpful. What you see is the result. So at your leisure, you can take your phones and scan the QR code at the bottom of the door hanger. You will see the Meadows Place logo appear, followed by the code enforcement information screen, where you will find 5 options to direct people to information locations. I base these options on questions I frequently receive by residents and contractors. The first option is the code enforcement webpage. The second is our ordinances on AmLegal. The third is the permits webpage. The fourth is Fort Bend AgriLife Horticulturalist website. And the fifth is the Texas Pride Disposable website. And that's it for the code enforcement report.
I want to congratulate you on the trees. You've managed to do a lot with trees this summer. We had the freeze, and then we had the drought, and we lost a lot of trees. And those things can be dangerous, as we know. We've had some fall, and you do a really good job with that, Jennifer. That's a problem issue that's not easy to deal with. Now, said that, have we talked to the people whose trees have grown over the sound walls yet?
Not yet. You're talking about on Derry Ashford?
Yeah.
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. That's a tough issue, so.
Yes, sir.
You've done well with it before, and I've got all full confidence you can again.
Thank you.
And I also want to compliment you on the garage door. You shut those on the garage build.
Yes, sir.
That was really a good way to handle that, and I thought you handled it very good. Everybody, including the homeowner and the contractor, was happy with the way you handled that, and I thank you very much. So anybody else got, counsel, any questions or comments for code enforcement?
I was just going to say, you guys did a great job on this violation notice. I scanned the QR code, and it took me to all the websites, and it's very helpful, and I can see how this will be a great resource for residents. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I second what Tia said, because I just scanned it along with her, and I am the least technical person you'll ever meet. And it popped right up and had all the different things. I was like, wow. So very impressive.
So does that mean y'all think this internet stuff's going to hang around for a while?
Maybe.
At least till next meeting.
Don't invest any money in it yet.
Okay. That end of the table, anything for code enforcement?
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Glad you're back. I'm glad you're out there looking after us. That one that's going to cost us, Onyx is doing that?
Yes, sir.
How do we Well, I guess the lesson to me is let's not let it go so long, so it won't be so much. We're still going to end up paying probably close to the same, but
Yes.
our neighbors won't have to put up with it so long. So
Yes,
that
sir.
was a tough one. And that lady is passed. We have no,
The owner has passed. The son is not reachable, and family members are, I don't know where
we
they're
don't
at.
know.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Well, thanks again, Jennifer. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We now have from last month, because she stayed home and goofed off, I think, our Parks Director, Colleen Cabezas, who has been asked to keep it short, and she promised me she would in the report. But she has some very important stuff to do tonight. So, Colleen?
I do. Good evening, Council and Mayor. This report will be more concise and short. It is covering a period from June through September, so 4 months. We do have some special guests here tonight, and that's here on the front row. J.C. Bowers on the end, Nick Garza, Tanner Cabezas, Frank Birch, Dan Denny, Lee Elanen, and then Daniel Trillick. He is on vacation tonight. This is my crew. This is my park staff. I brought them in here tonight because I felt like they really needed a special recognition after this period of 4 months. This summer was brutal. And I want to tell you a little bit about what they did. So as I talk about your area, if you will stand up and then remain standing. Recreation.
When you stand up, turn around and wave at that camera, too.
Recreation. This is Frank Birch. So Frank, he put on summer camp, and he had 290 kids throughout our summer. So just to give you a comparison, last year our revenue was $14,459 for summer camp. This year, $34,552. So he more than doubled that. And I want to say that's great success to him and his leadership at camp. And he really made it a great, safe time for the kids. He also, where's that number? Oh, Nature Center rentals, $2,850. Last year, $250. So he's doing great things over there, and I really appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you. Next area is the pool. Lee, you too. So Nick and Tanner are both part-time. Nick was the pool supervisor. Tanner was one of the head guards. And then Lee also, as part of her, as a superintendent, the pool is part of her duty. We had a great summer, super leadership, no complaints. That's huge. We typically get lots and lots of complaints during the summer for one reason or the other. But because of these two guys right there, they handled the public. They were attentive to the needs of the community and the kids. They listened to their supervisor. So we had a great summer in that respect. 13 pool parties. I believe last year we had 2. Yes, 13 pool parties. They sold 1,176 pool passes for a revenue of $11,760. Prior to that, they only sold 1,024 pool passes. So there's a difference of money, $1,520 increase. So great job on the pool. I think everybody was really happy. We had the pool closed in all maybe 2 days, and that was due to an electrical issue from a storm. And that was just one of the pools. So thank you guys for all that you did there. Lee, you can stay standing up. Parks, Dan, if you'll stand up. So in Parks, they sold for the tennis passes just since this past May, 1,700. Last year was 1,500, so we do have an increase there. They completed the Majors Field. That was pretty significant throughout the summer. They installed the Butterfly Garden. I'm sorry, JC, you need to stand up too. You're part of Parks. installed the butterfly garden. They did the Kirkwood change out. That's dealing with all the dead plants that died due to irrigation issues, heat issues, also being run over. So they've changed all that out, put in new plants, new boulders, and that project is nearing completion. Also, lots of landscaping and struggling with the heat and lack of water thereof. They put in City Hall landscaping. She was able to maintain with zinnias, right, I believe, and we got a lot of color in the front of City Hall thanks to JC's decision on that. Also installation at the community center and the nature center. And then finally, we also installed a storage unit. They did all of that. All you guys stand up now, please. They did all of that in this 4 short months while we had 7 events. Kickoff to summer, lifeguard kickball event, 2 barefoot and Fridays, July 4th, an animal clinic, and Wreck the Night. Also, 2 of them suffered heat exhaustion, 1 had a minor injury, and 5 were out during COVID exposure. The 2 down here, the 2 boys, what are your names, guys? Nick and Tanner, are part-timers. They carried our parks department during that period that we were out during COVID. We were all shut down. We were all at home. They carried it. So they ran the pool, they ran pool parties, and they did the rounds in the parks. We knew we could count on them, and we really appreciate the effort that they gave to it. And Frank, I know you were here too. I'm so sorry. He was running camp, so he held it down for camp. But without all of their efforts, parks would be nothing. And I just wanted to make sure that these guys get the proper recognition in front of you guys because they work hard, and I really appreciate the service that they give to our community. So thank you guys. And so on a final note, what's coming up, we have our Fall Festival, October 15th. So if you haven't started preparing your Stein holding arms, please begin practicing. Tia and Kurt have already been doing that. We also have the Opus 4. If you remember them, they want to come back. So they'll be here for October 28th and November 3rd. It's a different type of an event. It's a 1-hour desserts included during the event. And it's just a theme night is what they'll be doing. And then moving into October forward, we'll be installing our sensory park. We're rebuilding the bridge over the lake, installing Meadow Glen Park, new irrigation at, this is Rod and I together, but I'm going to steal your thunder. New irrigation at City Hall, the Community Center, and McDonald Park. We have a crew out currently trimming the trees at approximately 260 trees, which is quite a bit. And then also coming up, we'll have the county-supported projects once the funding comes through for the fishing pier, changing the field house roof, and redoing the tennis court. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
I
Okay.
have a comment.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I was just going to say, your staff is amazing. I watched you guys all summer, and especially in the roundabouts. I couldn't imagine how you guys did do it every day. And I don't think you guys get enough credit for the hard work that you guys did put in, especially during the heat. So thank you very much. And as far as the pool goes, dealing with the pool during swim team, you guys were incredible. You helped us. Anything that we needed, you were there. And while we were at swim, we saw the kids coming over from camp, and they always looked very happy. And I don't know how you did it, because I couldn't have done it. So I do appreciate that. The only other question that I was wondering is, do we have a date for Christmas Memories yet, or are we still?
We do have a date for Christmas Memories. I believe that's December 2nd. It's the first Friday in December.
Okay, perfect. But congratulations. You have an amazing staff, and thank you for everything that you guys do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to echo the same thing. I'm out quite a bit on my bike during different times of the day, and you guys working out in that heat, not just for an hour riding a bike, but 7 or 8 hours, my hat's off to you. I think I said something, Nick, I think I may have mentioned to you the times I've seen you guys, but thank you guys so much for the hard work you do, particularly this summer. It was blistering hot. There were a lot of 107-degree heat index days, and
It's Texas.
there was no shade where you guys were working most of the time, so thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question. Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
I want to say thanks for taking care of the concession stand whenever I bother you or whatever with, like the hot water heater went out. I know it went out this week, and I'm assuming it's already fixed.
That's my staff too. You can thank Dan and Lee and Daniel. They get in there and take care of those things right away.
Yeah, but they do a good job and all, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm sure everybody at concession does. It's a good deal. I want to as well say thank you to everybody. I just enjoy watching you work because I'm lazy. And the results speak for themselves. I do have a question for you, though. I don't believe I've ever seen 13 pool parties, not in recent history.
I know. Yeah, this summer was fantastic with all of our activities. And most of them, would you say it was about 50-50, public and private? Yeah, that's right. There were a couple of days and weekends that it was backed, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday, and some of them even had multiple pool parties in one day. So, again, that's kudos to the guys that were actually working there because they were dealing with the customers and readying the pool and keeping it clean and keeping all their guards in line. So I'm very grateful for the leadership that we had at the pool this summer.
Well, that's pretty significant jump. And for a little bitty town like ours to have that kind of influx into using that pool in that capacity, that's a whole lot of joy, a whole lot of smiles going out, and a whole lot of people talking nice things about Meadows Place. And that's what's important to me, and that's why I say thank you. And I do want to remind you, if I can, Colleen, that when he's up there at the pool and doing that stuff, he's in there cleaning the bathroom, so he knows how to clean the bathroom.
Yes, he does, yes.
My boys hated when I found that out. Anyway, Colleen, thank you very much on behalf of myself and council. I think you've heard the thank yous, and the gratitude is sincere, and it's deep, and we appreciate it. We were talking earlier about how do you sell Meadows Place. That's how right there. So thank you. That's it. Wrap that thing up, and thank you, Colleen. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. And you guys are free to go. I appreciate y'all coming.
Yes. Drive careful. We want you back tomorrow. Okay. It's time for the fire department monthly report, and which we get from the Stafford Fire Department. We had a total of 46 incidents here in the city of Meadows Place that utilized rescue, fire, EMS. We had 19 were medical assists with the EMS crew, which is a pretty significant number, but not unusual for City of Meadows Place. We had 5 rescue EMS others, which is typically cars and things like that, medical assist with the EMS crew. We had gas leak, which called out the fire department. And they had 2 of those this time. That's kind of unusual, but it's summertime grilling, I think. We had 1 assisting the police, and I'm always glad to hear that, assisting someone an invalid that needed help, 1 good intent call, and 12 canceled calls. So we're busy in City of Meadows Place as usual. A lot of it involves our EMS rather than fire, and let's be thankful of that. That's why I'm so glad that, again, that we have both fire and EMS right here in the City of Meadows Place. That's it for that. City Administrator is going to give us his report.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll make it brief. We did a couple of weeks ago have a staff luncheon that was a success. We had about 25 employees show up. Good fellowship, good time had by all. I want to thank those council members that were able to make it by, as well as our mayor. I think it was a good event, and we want to continue to try and make it more of a habit to do so. Colleen mentioned we are getting some trees trimmed. I know you probably have noticed that in the community. We're also beginning to work on the irrigation here at City Hall, so we're looking for some improvements there. Want to make a big announcement today that we did receive the second half of our ARPA funding in the bank today. Is another $569,000 to make a total of just under $1.14 million that we now have in the bank. No takesy backsies from the federal government. It's ours now. We're going to, a little bit later on tonight, have a little more detail to hand out to you guys on that funding and some other utility funding to kind of show you where you are on that, because as you know, we've got some big projects coming up that we want to fund, not the least of which is our wastewater treatment plant, and of course all of that and then some will be needed for that project. So we're happy with that. We have been talking with our engineers. They are getting closer on delivering those wastewater treatment plant plans to us, and we'll have a lot of detail on that when they do. Of course, TML is next week, so if you see any HDR folks, don't be shy about asking them where our plan set is. And then finally, I want to make mention that starting next week, because this is New Year's Eve for us city employees, or as close as you can get, we are going to be changing the hours of City Hall. We're actually going to be extending the hours of City Hall by about an hour. So we're going to be going from 9 a.m. back to 8:30 a.m., and we're going to be going from 4 p.m. out to 4:30 p.m. So new hours are from 8:30 to 4:30. I think that's going to be a welcome addition, and I think it's going to be welcomed by the community. We certainly do think that people are going to take advantage of that, and we're proud to be able to offer that. We're going to publicize the heck out of it. Again, I want to let you guys know that anytime staff changes something like this, it's always a work in progress. We're going to try it out. If there needs to be any adjustments, modifications, or tweaks, we will let you know. But we're going to do our best to make this work, and it'll be a little bit of an adjustment for everybody because, as you know, everybody's hours are changing a little bit as well. So folks will be coming in a little earlier. They'll be leaving a little later. But we're looking forward to it, and we appreciate council's support on that change. And with that concludes the report. We have a lot going on in this 1 square mile city. So.
We do. And it always amazes me. With that, we're moving on out of reports to mayor and council comments. Due to the fact that some of these might get lengthy, I'm going to be brief as well. The year-end review for the city of Meadows Place got to be a book, and I really didn't know how to shorten it. And I looked at every department. We made such huge progress in every department. Our police department has solidified an issue that was bugging us for a long time in dispatch, and the chief worked real hard with that. We had some changes of personnel that I think is going to be good, and he's handled all of those issues, moving us into the next year in a very solid position. LT's got a year under her belt as being the one in charge and is doing a very good job of that as well. So our police department, as far as I'm concerned, is in better shape than it was a year ago, and it was in good shape then. And I appreciate and commend all of our police department for the effort and the work that they put in. But that bodes well for our future for next year. We're looking at our parks department. We just heard the stuff that they've done, and that's the day-to-day stuff. It doesn't really get mentioned as much as they did. We have improved in every aspect of the city. Our administrative staff is full. We've got good personnel in courts and in admin and finance. And I think that was a major accomplishment as we changed auditors in the middle of the year. And I wasn't involved too much in that because I ran as fast as I could whenever I saw you working on them, Anna Maria. But our finance department picked that up and ran with it and did a really good job. And it was really something to see that transition. And when every number that gets dealt with is dealt with and then taken apart and looked at, it can get really tense. And they've all got to come up and match. And I just say we did a great job. I think, what was it, 2 years ago we changed banks? Or 3. 2 years ago we changed banks. That was a big transition. And now we've changed auditors. That's a big transition. And I believe that we made a huge improvement in our banking relationship. And I know it's a lot easier for our staff to deal with the new bank, and I believe it's going to be that way with the auditor moving forward too. So congratulations on that. City administrator has a year under his belt and has mentioned to me a couple of times that Meadows Place is a great place to work, and he has some comparisons to deal with. And if you look around city, the county, City of Meadows Place is just solid as a rock compared to many of the cities around here. And we've got such a small staff. It's as I've said before, we have the perfect staffing situation as long as nobody has to go to the bathroom or on vacation. And then, like we saw in parks and we've seen in PD, people pick up the load. We've added a communications director who is I think starting to meet the expectations of the council members. We found out tonight we still have some more work to do. We have really exceeded the expectations from my perspective because I wasn't able to connect the importance of the skill set that our communications director, Cameron Miller, brought, but the connection to the city. I knew it'd be important, but not as significant as it is. And he's really reached out and got the heart and soul of the city, and he's making it happen. And I see Jim Fenwick over there nodding. Yes, he has. And so that's the type of thing that we've done. So we've had a heck of a good year. We're winding down. Our budget looks really good, but I've always said that the chief and Colleen know how to work their budgets, and by golly, old Rod's right in there with them, and I'm really proud of that. So we've got people that know how to work with their own budgets and to look out for the betterment of the city, and they work together when monies need to be moved, and I'm really proud of that. So all I can say is when I sit up there with the rest or with other mayors in the city of city of Fort Bend County, knowing how much more they've got. Well, for instance, Fulshear was sitting there bragging about their property values being about $454,000 average. They take a little bit more in on property tax than we do. But we do a wonderful, wonderful job of maximizing it. It's everybody in the staff and everybody in this council does a great job on that. And I want to say that the last fiscal year is, to me, probably the most significant, and I think it's got to really set us up to launch for the next year. Okay, item number D is I want to mention Children's Community Garden. Thank you, Courtney, for bringing that up. I had some other things, and I said, no, I'm going to cut them, and she said, what about Children's Community Garden? This is really something that I'm really proud of that I had nothing to do with. I was real unhappy with the way the community garden was working. We weren't clicking over there, and it didn't look nice. And I called Colleen in one day and I said, fix this thing. And she goes, well, Mayor, what does that mean? It means it's got to have flowers and look pretty when people walk through it. And she said, well, I said, well, there's got to be somebody. And she said, well, yeah, Kirsten Stagemeyer might be interested. She was real involved last time, and she's always shown interest. So I said, well, okay, I'll call her. But before I got a chance, she stepped up and responded to something that Colleen posted looking for volunteers. And she came in and said, I'll be willing to help. And she did. She responded to a call for volunteers. We revised the mission. She and Colleen revised the mission to change it from a community garden to a butterfly garden with a children's community garden at the back end. Kristen and her family got out there, and pretty soon there were other people working, and they grew watermelons, and it looked great. The garden looked great, and I said, "You need to get excited about this and just take it over." And she said, "Well, okay, what do I do?" I said, "What do you need?" And she said, "Well, we could use some water." I'm going, "Okay, I can do that." And a pop-up, and we got that, and said, "What else you need?" And then she said a couple things. "Well, if we could," and I said, "You got it. Work with Colleen, anything out in the parks." And Colleen just did, and they got it together. And I think it was last Wednesday or the Wednesday before last, they had 10 families out there. That's with kids at that children's community garden. Guys, that's what community is all about. I mean, you think about it, we've got baseball going on, we've got swim team going on, now we've got children's community garden, we've got the nature center where we had a big increase in people going through. So all of those types of things are there, and I really want to say, and by the way, we had another call for volunteers out of that, and Kristen helped run that thing up and got some other people to help for a photo op pumpkin patch that's going to be at the Nature Center. That is going to be so much fun, and it's decorated out there, and you go plop your little kid or your grandkid on there. I will be hauling mine up here if I can get them here. And I want to thank Brittany Hansen, Claudia Hernandez, Melissa Garcia, who helped Kristen Stagemeyer to put that all together. And they're lifting hay bales and throwing it around, and it looks great. So I want to thank those folks for that. And so we've got a lot of things on that tie the community together, both professionally and from the community aspect. So I want to say thank you for that. And I'll turn it over now to item C on that, which is Rick.
All right.
Item two, sorry.
Most people know that we've had a few issues with our contractor on Dorrance. Had some issues with them getting deliveries, things like that. That's slowed some of the progress that we had wanted to see. They did catch some rain last month, and that also impacted them. For those that don't know, construction throughout the area has been impacted by rationing. Getting lime, getting cement, which means getting concrete, has been a shortage just due to the supply chain issues. To the point where contractor will go to order concrete for his various projects, and if he wants, call it 1,000 yards, they'll say, "You're getting 500 this week, where do you want it?" And so that's been an impact for our construction as well as construction throughout the county. Beyond that, we are going to make some changes to the sidewalk areas, getting some plywood on pallets to try to assist those people getting to and from their houses. But beyond that, concrete pour is supposed to start tomorrow at 6 a.m. It's going to be spread over 2 days for this first section. So we'll see a little progress there. Once that cures, then they'll move on to the next section. They'll do, I think, some of the sidewalk as well, and then move on to the next section. And it's going to be the same type of construction. It's just a matter of, does the weather cooperate? Do the materials cooperate? Are the utilities where they're supposed to be? Which never happens. And we'll try to get through this process as quickly as possible, but it will be painful. It always is when we're doing construction, especially in a residential area. Concrete pour 6 a.m. They were trying for 4 a.m. We put a little bit of a complaint in on that, but part of that is that's when the concrete plants open and when they start delivering concrete. So
we're going to take it when we can get it.
6 a.m. It's better than what they asked for, but not exactly what we would have liked.
Yep.
Will Dorrance be closed during the pour?
More than likely, yes. So during the pour, they'll have some temporary barricades out. there. So, but they should be done in a matter of hours.
Okay. Are the residents aware of that being closed for?
Actually, it's been intermittently open and closed throughout the entire project. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think this will be out of the ordinary from what they've been experiencing. But yeah, I mean, and this is phase one, so we're still.
What they're supposed to do is bring a truck up, dump the truck, get it out of the way, let some traffic through. Next truck comes up. Now, you're going to get some people that aren't going to want to wait. They're going to turn around and go back the other way.
Cause the trouble.
Hopefully, you know, the contractor does pay attention and doesn't roll two trucks up there at the same time, things like that. But we'll just have to monitor it as the construction's happening. Any questions on Dorrance? Any more questions on Dorrance? Okay. I am not going to be there. I am letting our team, our consultants, and our staff take care of that.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Bikeway project, there was a telephone call with Centerpoint. We have an existing application into them that they have not answered on the route. Trying to get that firm answer on that. They are requiring a second application for the geotech and the surveying to get onto their property. We have to pay a second check. Sorry, it's Centerpoint. It's their land, their rules. And so we'll get that in process. And then we've got an item later on here to talk about the bridge design. Any questions?
No, I appreciate it, Rick.
Obviously, our schedule is blown. We won't be advertising this year. Earliest will be January, February.
Oh, for the next half.
Yeah. No, for the Bikeway.
Oh, the bike project.
We had hoped to have the Bikeway bid in October.
That's right.
But that's not going to happen.
No, that ain't happening. Got it. Thank you. All right, moving on to item D, regular agenda. We have a ton of stuff. This discussion, item 1 is discussion consideration of ordinance 2022-53, approving the City of Meadows Place Economic Development Corporation fiscal year budget as adopted by the Board of Directors at its September 8th meeting. Council need a motion to accept the EDC budget.
Move to approve.
Motion by Rick.
Second.
Second by Kelly. It sounded like she got that. Appreciate that. Any further discussion on the EDC budget?
I just want to point out the capital improvements portion of their budget, $40,000 for general capital improvements, $150,000 transfer for infrastructure, $187,000 to match the Fort Bend County Mobility Bond money. Beyond that, they're also putting in about $85,000 into parks improvements and maintenance.
All right. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Bob will be happy about that. Got his money. Item D2, discussion regarding estate sales. This is discussion consideration of ordinance 2022-54, amending Chapter 111 Sales Code of Ordinances of City of Meadows Place by modifying sections 111.01 and 111.02. And if you see in your back packet, down at the bottom is 112.01 defined. It mentions estate sale, a sale or auction of a resident's used personal property owned by a person who is recently deceased or who must dispose of personal property to facilitate a physical move. So it's very specific in that regard. For the purpose of this chapter, an estate sale shall only occur within the confines of the subject residence and not out onto the porch or driveway, so it can't be confused with a garage or porch sale. Do I have a motion to amend was that section 112, and 2 related to estate sales.
Move to approve.
Motion by Kurt,
Second.
second by David. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 3, discussion and consideration of resolution 2022-30, creating a policy for disconnects related to billing delinquencies. You're going to need to play a role in this conversation, Courtney. And Nick, I'm going to actually throw this at you to tell us why we're here. I feel like what we're trying to do, by the way, is to clarify for staff what to do.
Correct. So, Council, the reason we're bringing this to you is because we really want you to have some say in the policy decision that needs to be made here. Right now, our ordinance does offer some guidance on what to do if people don't pay their utility bills in town. But what it essentially says is that if a customer fails to pay, that we can cut them off. We do have to give them notice, but as soon as we give them notice, we can cut them off even after their first missed payment. Now, I can tell you procedurally, we do not do that, and we haven't been doing that for a number of years. And so if you look in your backup, you can actually see the number of delinquent accounts that we have right now, and it's, where is that, Courtney? Here we go. There you go. It's the last part. So we have, as of last week, we had 44 accounts that are delinquent. Some of them as many as 120 days delinquent or plus. And so, but at the same time, we're not cutting anybody off. So from my perspective, we need really council to give us some direction on 3 things. You can see the way that it's broken down in the spreadsheet or in the sheet in the back. You've got 30, 60, 90, and 120 days in arrears. So the question we have is, yes, we can disconnect you for non-payment, but we want some ideas from you guys on when we should do that. What's the trigger? Should it be 30 days, 60 days, 1 missed payment, 2 missed payments, etc.? The second question we'd like some direction on is, what will it take to get that turned back on? If we turn you off and you have a bill that is, let's say, $600, do you need to pay that full $600 before you get turned back on, or can you make a payment that sort of is good faith or a payment plan kind of a thing? There's nothing in the ordinance that allows for that, but it doesn't mean we can't do that as a matter of policy. The third thing is that we do have a few accounts that essentially have never paid, and sometimes those houses are, the people have left. We're not going to collect on those. Anna Maria kind of carries those, month to month and wonders, we're just not collecting on that. So could we or should we write off some of those that we know people have skipped town, they're not moving back, and they have a $200 bill sitting there, for example? Those are the 3 biggies, and if you look at the back of this section, we do have a template resolution for you that basically has blanks. Section 2 basically says, that the utility accounts that are not paid within X days following the due date shall be cut off. The next section talks about if they are paid, 25%, whatever that number might be, including the water reconnect fee, then we can go ahead and reconnect them. And then that last section is utility accounts that are delinquent more than X days or however long shall be hereby retired and deemed uncollectible by the city. So those are the 3 tenets, the 3 things we're asking from you guys some feedback on, because what we don't want to do as a staff is begin to create a policy that then you guys hear the grumbles on, and you guys had really no say-so or fingerprints on that policy. So that's why we're bringing it to you guys. I know it's open-ended. I know it's, not something that we can really guide you on because it really is a policy question, so that's why we're bringing it to you.
I had a question on the ones that skip town without paying. Are those mostly renters or are those homeowners?
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
It's both, homeowners and renters.
How many do you think we have right now, Anna Maria? Those that we haven't collected on that we think have moved, right?
How many?
More than 30.
More than 30 that have finaled and not paid.
So the renters, do we still require deposits?
Yes, so a homeowner pays a $150 deposit, a renter pays a $200 deposit.
Okay. So if it's a homeowner that skips and the house has not changed title yet, I would say that we could place a lien on the property, right? Kurt?
We cannot.
We cannot.
I have asked legal, we cannot place a lien for a past due water bill.
I asked Chief if they've ever gotten a warrant for a water bill that hadn't been paid, and he said he never has. I was disappointed.
I mean, you could contract and send them to collections,
So
but we can't.
I would
follow
say,
them.
now, is this the water portion or is this utility bills?
It's the utility bill,
These are
so
utility
water,
bills.
sewer, trash, road
Okay.
fee, surface water.
So average utility bill in my house is, call it 120, 130 a month. I would say we increase our deposits to cover 2 months' worth of average bill. I will tell you, council, in the past, we got real aggressive on this once before when we were having this same issue. And it was, you didn't pay, you got notice, 45 days, we were shutting your water off. That's very aggressive. I'd be more open to 60 days, that type of thing, but I'd be open to hearing what everybody else has to say. Things happen. I think I've missed paying 3 water bills in my entire 22 years here, and I know what happened each and every time and why that happened. And I mean, like I said, life happens. I'm not going to shut somebody's water off after one missed bill. But when it hits that second one, we should know something's going on.
If I could interrupt, Dave, before you take off. Anna Maria, you live in another jurisdiction, not too far from here. How many days do you get? Which is not uncommon. Rick, you remember we had the same discussion on the fact that these are our neighbors. Some of them we knew might have had a tough time. And so we've kind of tried to work some compassion in there. I also, though, want to make it clear that to council that we have in the past had a book and carried up to 500 people in various stages of paying their water bill. I thought, and the answer when I asked about that, it was how many do we do? And the answer I got was, a few. Tells you had to pick up the book in the binder back when we had dead hand note. And I went into a panic, and I'm almost feeling that same panic now. That's why I want to go ahead and get this answered. So can we use Rick's 60 days to start the bidding?
My question was, the 60, is the 60 from the 20th that when it was due? Is it 60 days from then, which means you'd have the next month to pay, and you'd have another month to the 20th of the third month, basically, of not paying? That would be the meaning that you'd because on the 20th of that next month, and it goes to the next one. So 60 days is from when it was due on the 20th. Okay.
Yes, so
Does everybody understand that? So I'm the only one that doesn't need to, I don't care, good.
So, and my question is, back to the 45, because I was thinking, so I lived somewhere similar where Anna Maria lived, and you don't have very long. So 45 days to me from the day that it was due, that gives you a whole another month to be late and an extra 2 weeks to kind of, get it together.
And that's kind of what it was. It's like, okay, at 45 days, you've missed 2 bills.
Yes.
You missed the first one, you missed the second one, and we're 15 days later.
Yes. So I don't have a problem with 45. I mean, personally, I think 45 days is enough. I mean, we could do 60, but then at that point, you're almost...
You're at 3 bills.
Yeah, you're at 3 bills at that point. Now, that being said, I also think that, So something that happened to me was we had a leak one time, and my bill was $800. We were not making very much money at the time, and I about had a heart attack because they threatened to shut my water off in 10 days. So if there was a way to set up some sort of a payment plan, if you were having that sort of an issue, to set up a payment plan where, you know, whatever the schedule is, if you miss it, you know,
Yeah.
then we shut it off.
So I can tell you what we currently do.
Okay.
And again, we don't really have a process of procedure. It's just what we're doing. We will allow somebody to be on a payment plan, and we usually try to honor that as long as they are making regular payments. But what happens is we set these people up on payment plans. They make that first payment, and then we don't hear from them. And then you call them, you've missed your payments again. Well, now it's a new dilemma. You know, now somebody's sick. Now somebody lost their job. Now somebody passed away. Now I had to be out of town.
COVID.
So, yeah. But we do set up payment plans currently as long as they continue to pay.
But those are one-off situations and a little more believable.
Yeah.
This is what they deal with on a day-to-day.
Trust me, my parents owned a collection agency growing up. I've heard all the excuses.
Yeah.
I know every trick in the book. I completely understand. And you will get a lot of those excuses. So unless we actually have a policy that just says, and you know, if somebody is in a really bad situation, you know, Meadows Army usually gets together and we can try to help somebody out. If there really is a need, we've come together as a community and helped people out. But if we don't put a policy in place that we stick to, then we're going to end up, you know, right back.
The last time we addressed this, the statement that really stuck with all of us was, the city is not a bank. We are not here to make loans to the citizens. And when we allow some of the residents to not pay, we're really impacting the other citizens that are having to carry the load. And
Jimmy's carrying their note.
And I'm looking at a couple of these that they owe over $1,200.
Okay, I called my kid sister. She lives in LaGrange to see what they do in small towns. 15 days past due or after, you get hit with a 10% penalty. 25 days, it owes $40 in admin fee. 26 days, you're showering at your neighbor's house. Okay.
We have a 10% penalty.
We have a penalty too.
The day after the due date, you get the 10% penalty.
And she says she's moving to Meadows Place so she doesn't have to pay a water bill ever again. So there'll be two of us here.
We're changing that tonight, Kelly.
And we also, just so you know, if you do get disconnected, there is that $50 reconnect fee. In addition, we collect an additional $150 to go into your deposit.
Okay, and as far as getting disconnected, gas bill this past September, it was due on September 1st. September 2nd, we couldn't heat up our oven enough to make a pizza. Took us a while to figure this out. Guess who didn't have gas? It was cut off. It was Labor Day weekend. I had to do lukewarm showers till Tuesday because Kelly Cheap would not pay the same-day reconnect fee.
I don't blame you.
But they gave me one day after having service with them for 30-something years.
Yeah. So we were disconnecting water services prior to COVID. And when COVID hit, we couldn't disconnect. With all the emergency orders by the governor and everything, we could not disconnect. So prior to that, we were sending the late notice out on the 21st. And then the late notice gives them to the 5th. So then on the 6th, we would tag doors, just giving them till like the next day, just depending on what day it was, giving them to like noon to come in and pay. And then we would even go another step and try to call them and say, look, you're on the disconnect list. And majority of the people, when they get that orange notice, will pay. And there were a few times we had to turn people off. Now, since COVID, we haven't gotten quite back into that routine. So that is the same routine we'll follow, but it is nice to know exactly who to turn off without just looking at it and go, well, they owe 100, they owe 300, let's shut them off this time. So it's just better to, if y'all give us a day, and that way it doesn't matter how much, our policy is 45 days, 60 days, and we have to shut you off.
No, I completely agree, and I do know that a lot of people are going through some hard times right now, so I don't want to be insensitive to what people are going through. So having a payment plan option is definitely something we can do to help them. The only thing I can say is if you do get it cut off, you pay the extra $50 plus. It's like, getting overdraft fees. I made sure not to, take out too much because, you start to pay those fees and you kind of learn a lesson sometimes. But we do need to be fair across the board. Insensitive, but also fair. I agree with Rick. We can't carry it all.
Education's expensive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is.
So we're back to 45 days? Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay, so 45 days, I think pencil that one in.
Does anybody have any problem with the process that Courtney just laid out?
No, I think it's a good process.
I will tell you this, that they worked real hard on it. We did have some people scream at us when we went to orange paper.
Oh, yeah, they don't like the orange paper.
Yeah. They said they were afraid the neighbors might see it.
Nobody realized when it was just another white paper coming, so we changed the color.
So we're going to stay with the same process. We're going to go to 45 days back. Okay, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. So section 3, sorry, go ahead.
So if we stay at 45 days, I don't think the payment plans are going to come into effect nearly as much because you're not going to have this huge bill.
That's exactly right, Rick.
Now with these people that have $1,200, we're probably going to have something for a payment plan or like the occasional death in the family, whatever's happening, loss of a job.
So I think that's where section 3 would come in. If
Right.
y'all set that percentage that they have to pay up front, and then we can set a payment plan for the remainder.
So what do we feel is fair? 25% for the first 50%?
I was going to go higher at 50%. Just otherwise, it's going to get strung along even further, and that involves our staff. That takes their time.
I'm good with 50%, but I'm usually the one called hard-hearted up here.
I'm 50.
50%?
It is 1 month, but you got to add on the 10%, the water reconnect fee, and that additional deposit, that additional $150. So it's all added to that as well. So if you're in debt $200, it's not just 100. It'd be 100 plus 150 plus 50 plus 10%.
So another extra 15 on that.
Is there a way to kind of stagger it where there's an incentive to pay it off quicker, maybe? Like if we hold, if you spread it out over, 4 payments, it there's a 5% or something that goes up if you pay it quicker. You can you even do that?
Every time they have a remaining balance, they get a 10% fee again next month until that past due balance is paid off. They're going to
pay
keep
it off early.
So that takes care of that.
They're going to keep getting. Oh, that's not true? Oh, no.
Until a new month comes up.
Yeah.
But we could change the ordinance or change the policy to include a 10% per month, which is usury. That's loan shark level.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe something lower than that. I mean, I don't necessarily want to punish somebody that's trying to take care of it, but at the same time.
No.
Come up.
Brian Frame at 11927 Meadow Trail Lane. We did actually recently have a leak, just like you said. Our bill was over $300 for the leak that we had, and we were able to make if it were to be a 50%, we would be able to make it. But I do think if other people have that same, 50% is a little bit high in those types of situations. So just take that under consideration.
My only encouragement to you on this would be keep the ordinance broad and make your policy specific. Because when you want to change it, it's a matter of policy, not changing it, if that makes any sense.
So now I have a question, Mr. Broad, policy specific. Utility accounts that are paid, I'm using the term 50%, including the water reconnect fee, late payment fee. So that is added on after my amount. Is that correct? So I pay 50. If I owed $400, I'd have to pay $200 plus the 150,
Plus the 50.
plus the 50, plus the 10%.
I have a question. So what if I have a leak and I have not made it 45 days, so you have not shut off my water, you have not, so I don't have to pay the $50 reconnect fee, you haven't added the extra $150, can I still do a payment plan at that point?
Yes, I would. We have been doing that now.
Okay.
We have been doing that now for people that have a high bill or have been a couple months behind. We have been doing payment plans.
So the point that I'm trying to get to is that there is an option to come in and get on a payment plan before you shut me off and I incur all these other fees.
Yes.
So I would like to point
we
out to all the
usually-
thousands of people watching, sign up for Eye on Water.
Yeah.
You can be on vacation in Branson, Missouri, and see if you're leaking. And that's come in handy several times.
The only thing we don't have for a payment plan is determining how much that initial payment should be to qualify for a payment plan. Like, should they have to follow this right here, that for a payment plan, you got to pay 50% of what's owed? And this is before cutoff. So should we follow the same as this? So like, you need a payment plan. So your initial payment needs to be 50%, and then we can work out the balance with you.
Yes, I think it should stay the same.
Okay.
Especially for administration, it needs to be easy. At whatever percentage we go with, that it should be the same whether you've been cut off or you haven't been cut off. Yes.
Okay.
That's kind of why I'm leaning more towards the 25%.
I was getting ready to say on that part, I'm for 25%.
Just, you know, if somebody's in that financial straits, 25% get on the payment plan, or 25% and all this extra stuff and get on the payment plan. Well, they're probably still going to be stretched, but my issue is if you're stretched paying your utility bill, you're probably not going to make your mortgage payment either. And it's only going to be a few months before they're going to be foreclosed upon.
Or hopefully get a job and get it taken care of. Let me ask a question real quick, because I'm not any good at this. Jim, let me ask this, and then if we sit down there and do 50%, but if somebody comes in early, if somehow we're able to convey this to the public and educate the public, and that's going to be a tough nut, but if we could, then could we not say, here you're at 50%, but if you come in early before we ding you, come in at 25%?
You can make that a policy. Sure.
So like if you come in before the disconnect, you can get a 25% down payment with payment plan.
Right. But if you wait, if you ignore us until you get disconnected,
It's 50%.
it's 50% plus all these other fees. I'm actually good with that.
So did you get that, Courtney?
Yeah.
Is everybody down at that end of the table happy with that?
Well, I'm Jimmy Fenwick. I had to think of my address real quick, 12323 Alston Drive. It's kind of a moot point now. I agree with that. In my job working in missions, we used to actually have kind of a benevolence program. We now work with East Fort Bend, but through that, people would come, and usually if they haven't paid their water bill, they're also fighting for their electric bill. They're, all of those things. And so but here's the thing is that we always struggled with, they would have to find other sources to help pay, before we would help them pay, because it doesn't work just to say, well, you have to pay this much and we're going to do it, but then they're still owing. So, but the 25%, if they haven't been cut off, is that incentive, and that helps them, but so, I think that, but that's what I just wanted to put out there is Meadows Place has always been very compassionate with its residents, but we still also have to manage Yeah, I mean, that's not fair, like you said, to everybody.
Not fair to you, Cameron, and
but-
Colleen.
I've been there. I mean, it was just stupidity and not noticing, but we've had our water cut off, and I tell you, it hurts when you have to pay all those extra fees and stuff, and when you go to turn on the shower and it's not there, and so you go in and it's a weekend or something, and you have to go without water for a couple days, and so I understand all that, but I like that 25% because we don't want to put people in a position that they just cannot either. So that's that you put forth effort, and we do. So just sharing from my experiences of working with people that struggle, I think that would be good.
Would that satisfy your thoughts too? If they get in here ahead of time, and so. That's going to be serious. So it's going to be tough to educate everybody, but it's something that we can do, especially now because we got a communication director.
So how long how long do we want to put a time frame on the payoff though? If you pay 25% and you're good for the next month, if you also are late next month, is it another 25%?
Is this only utility accounts that are finaled? Or can it be a current delinquent account?
Well, that's what we need to ask that question.
I'm thinking current delinquent.
Yeah, we need to, that's a question.
Yeah. So, these are current delinquents, and that's the fee. Look, we're going to help you for the month you've already missed, but this isn't you pay 25% of your bill for the next 6 months, because that's not going to help them because they're still going to end up with that $1,200.
They won't be able to recover from it. If we just kept doing 25%, that 75%.
Yeah, they're going to, yeah. So,
it's a payment plan, and I would say you give them 4 months to pay it off.
Well, does it need to be once a month? Can it be 2 weeks? You basically making a payment every time you get a paycheck kind of thing? Or, because you're right, you start over 4 months, you now have 4 more months of water bills. And, if you're already having trouble paying that one, it's,
Sorry.
Sorry, can I just pop right here real quick? I think
They won't hear you though on the live stream.
No, you have to be.
The issue with going to every 2 weeks is the staff has to keep up with that.
And I think it would overwhelm people too of that. I don't know if anybody has ever tried to navigate, if you've ever had financial difficulties and have to navigate getting financial assistance. It is the most horrible thing. I've literally had people grown men break down in tears in front of me because they said, I have been to this many places and I can't get anybody to help. So it is very, very difficult. I think though that 25%, if you do 25% on top of the other, the bill, so they're paying the next month plus just a little bit extra, because then we're giving them a buffer. I don't think it's 25% of their bill. That was my thought, was you're paying your bill, right? Plus that 25% payment plan to pay it out.
Right, so you pay 25% of what's currently owed.
Yeah, so I guess if you pay 25% up front and then you pay 25% the following 3 months, it's a 4-month payback period.
Prior to cutoff.
yeah.
But if you don't pay within that 4 months, it's 15 days and then you're going to be shut off.
Back to your green or your red card.
Just because I know others would ask, but so for clarification, we pay a deposit, correct? Then if we don't...
Right, we only put deposits in for residents in 2016.
Okay.
So anybody prior to that does not have a deposit.
So if somebody did pay a deposit and then they are cut off, they have to repay the deposit, correct?
Correct.
So does the deposit go to help with the bill, or is that just disappears?
That's protection against you defaulting in the future. If you leave the city and you fully paid your bill, you would get that deposit back.
Okay. I was just asking for clarification for that purpose. So, okay.
But Jim, I don't think you got your answer. And I'm going to simplify it out because I'm not the brightest bulb in here. Came in owing $100. You had a $50 deposit. You couldn't make it. And they shut you off. Where happens to that $50? Doesn't it go to lower the water bill because you now own let's say you have $75?
Not if you want the water turned back on.
Right. The deposit stays there. That really helps rectify when you close out at the end of the.
Yes.
When you leave town.
But if you have to pay and you've paid 2 deposits, are both those deposits given back to you
Yes.
So
at the end?
If you had a $50 and your new amount is $150, you'd bring that up to it'd be $100 extra. It wouldn't be $150 on top of the 50.
Basically, how the deposit works, when we final out an account, the balance that owed is pulled from the deposit. If you have money left, we mail a refund check.
Okay.
Right. And we do every week. We send refund checks out, and it's $27 or it's $8 or it's whatever's left. So
Right. I just was asking, so if somebody just paid a deposit, in 6 months they defaulted, they didn't pay, they were cut off and they paid another deposit, do both those deposits, if they move in a year, do both those deposits come back to them if they're current?
Yes.
So they're not, that's where I guess where that question was coming is, so that money is still there, they'll get it at the end. It's just protected and it's given incentive to not be, delinquent on your
and
payment.
it further protects the city because if there's a pattern of them not paying, then of course your deposit's going to be higher.
Right. Right.
Whoa, what is this? Audience participation in city council meeting? Dang.
So we're good with 25% down payment, and then the rest to be paid monthly over the next 3 months, 25% per month, in addition to their bill.
Yep. So, Nick, between you and Courtney, can y'all get this put together?
I'm praying that Courtney's got all this.
I got notes.
Okay, you got notes. So that brings us down to section 4, correct?
Yes.
Utility accounts that are delinquent more than X shall hereby be retired and deemed uncollectible by the city.
Can I ask Anna Maria what your thoughts are on this?
Absolutely. One? Please come up, Anna Maria, and you're the one that deals with it.
Okay, can you hear me? I got a couple of comments. Just those orange delinquent letters really work for those people who just missed a payment.
You're like me.
And they forget. We do see probably, 95% of those people come in and pay before the 5th because they're scared. The others get that orange letter repeatedly, never do anything. Okay? We did just send out our bills Monday, Tuesday, and so there were some finaled accounts. I noticed that there was one finaled account that had a bill of owing the city $600. They had no deposit on there. So my guess is $600. They've been delinquent for several months. We probably will never see that $600, which is what that item D comes down to. So we do have a number of old finaled accounts that had an outstanding balance. What do we do with them? And when do we just say we need to write them off? Is it after 6 months and we haven't received payment? After a year? Some guidance.
I just want to clarify this. Number 4 is for finaled account.
Yeah.
Not anything that's currently delinquent.
Right.
Right.
So my question is this something we could turn over to our tax attorneys and have them go after it?
I think
Collection agency?
Linebarger would do utility collections.
Trouble is that a lot of these, old finaled accounts, if you really start looking at them, they may have $50 or $100.
And I think I think there's a financial decision there of
right.
If it's over $100,
those that are $600 outstanding, well, that's different than the bulk. So.
Yeah. And hopefully we won't get to $600 anymore with making sure that we go through this process.
Correct.
I would say anything less than $100 after 6 months, we just write it off because it's not worth chasing.
A lot of them we just don't have good addresses, to send out that final bill. They just sort of disappear.
Once they're gone, what are our teeth to go get them?
Right.
Other than dinging their credit. And that's why I'm asking about Linebarger. And if it's over $100, we turn it over to Linebarger. If they can get it, great. If they can't, we ding their credit.
Is that how that works?
So I would wonder how much Linebarger charges.
I'd have to get
Usually it's a
Linebarger.
percentage.
Yeah, it's
or
usually
something.
50% or something.
Yeah. I would actually propose maybe 200. I don't know.
So like with our court collections, it's 30%. So when we send a citation to collections, they automatically get 30% added to the fine.
Yeah.
But
So
they,
that-
Oh,
we
they
still
added on
collect
top.
the same $100.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we collect, that 30% is already built in that we pay Linebarger.
I would say 200 only because you want to make it worth their time too to do it. Otherwise, what's
I'd say let's have a discussion with them.
Okay.
Number one, are they interested?
Okay.
And then two, get an idea from them what that cutoff would be.
Are you going to be going to TML?
Yes.
You could visit with them up there.
Trust me.
Can we turn them over to the credit bureau?
I mean, the trouble might be also what kind of information we need to provide to Linebarger. What are they looking for? We may not have enough information to give them other than their last, the
We
address.
should have driver's license. address,
Maybe,
and phone number. The old accounts we may not, but new accounts require a driver's license.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
So we'll get with Linebarger and then we can go from there after we decide what
So
they
at this
say.
point,
Well, I'll put in 6 months for now.
6 months?
Well, we don't have to make any, I mean, we can bring this resolution back next time.
Okay.
We don't have to make a decision tonight. I mean, if we need, we can write this thing up, get you guys comfortable with the language, do
Talk
the
to
research,
Linebarger.
and then come back next month with.
That would give us,
In the
give
interim.
Cameron a little bit of time. Still here? He's here. Is having some time to work this up in a communication, because I think we've got the elements that are going to need to be communicated.
Well, that's why we
The
wanted
rest of
this,
this
'cause
is.
how do we
is-
determine who to turn off? That's why we brought this
All
to
right.
council, so we can determine who to turn off.
Well, and if you want this so that you can start working that process, like I said, I'm good with saying 6 months tonight. We can always amend it once we get information back to Linebarger, from Linebarger.
We can do that, sure.
Well,
Let's
that
do-
only affects final. It doesn't change how we would take current delinquencies. We'll modify our letter and send out a letter.
so let's go 6 months
Okay.
and call it good.
And we can approve this as described, and if we need to modify later, we can do
Correct.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so with that, I need a motion to amended, right, okay?
second?
Second by Tia. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I'm so glad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Because we were on a roll before COVID with this. Okay, emergency repairs to well 2. This is prepared by Roderick Haney. And every time he talks about something, something breaks. So don't bring up anything new, Rod. USW reported well 2 was having some problems. And so at this point,
Thank you.
we need a resolution by the city council approving emergency repairs to well number 2.
Move to have the mayor pay this? Oh.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the emergency payment.
Second.
Second by Tia. Any discussion or questions?
So in general, my understanding is operate on 2 wells. We still have decent pressure. We've got decent water. Barring another one going down. And we have hopefully a plan on getting this back up.
Well, Rod's got a good presentation.
I've got a quick presentation, and I've also, when I wrote this, I had a very good look at well 3, how we repaired it, and I'm now looking at well 2, and unfortunately we're not going to be as fortunate repairing well 2 the same way we did well 3. What you said, Rick, was that we have 3 wells, yes, and well 3 has been reestablished. Well 2 is in rough shape at this point in time. I had a discussion with CNC when we initially did our initial review, and they could actually turn the shaft on the well motor by hand, which is not good, which means that the bowl assembly on the bottom had broken off and was dropped down to the bottom of the well, which it certainly did have. So we did approve the initial TV review and the pulling of the pump, etc., and we were unable to see anything. And only after yesterday morning, I received this video. We have a 16-inch casing, service casing, and we have a 10-inch screen casing below that. I can only give you a report on the top half of the well at this point in time. The bottom half was only cleared this afternoon, and I have not had a TV report or anything or camera survey down below that. I guess it's a good time to go into the report here. Picture's worth 1,000 words. Might be $1,000. Oh, come on. There's a pad over there.
Yeah, the issue is the distance, and there's lag on the mouse.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Rod, have we fished everything out at this point?
We have, as of 3:30 this afternoon, we were able to fish out the pump bowl assembly that had dropped down halfway down the well to the 600-foot level. There's still some other debris down there, and you'll see it as part of the review. Go ahead. The number in the middle there is the depth of the water, or the depth of the well below the surface. So we're at 390 feet. That is a hole in the casing right there with a shadow from the light source. The dark part is the actual thickness of the casing. So you've got drilling mud and concrete coming out of it. So that's a hole in the casing at 400 feet. Keep going. The light-colored particulate matter you're seeing in there is just what we see in regular floaties. The bigger stuff is rust. And it's not very, there's a big piece there. It's not very evident right now, but when you get closer to the bottom, the volume of the rust that is coming off of that casing is a lot. You can see that part there. The casing's supposed to be round. You can see some flat edges. Those flat edges is where the casing is pushing in, and so the casing is fundamentally failing at this point in time. The first question I asked the well driller was, can we save this well? And he said, yes, we can save it, but it's going to, we're going to have a reduced production, water production. We'll probably go down to 700 or 800 gallons per minute from 11 or 1,200 gallons per minute. With the condition of this surface casing, I'll give you the information that he's given me with regard to how we possibly plan to repair this. Okay, 580 feet. We're down getting close to where the blockage is. And like 585, you start to see this cable. Now, that cable is not supposed to be there. Either a fishing line or a submersible pump that they dropped, and nobody told anybody. So we're getting close to the 600-foot mark, and you'll be able to see the pump bowl assembly, a round part of it, and that's right where the lip is between the main casing, the 16-inch casing, and the 10-inch casing on the bottom, a side view looking at the debris falling down. As we're moving down there, all this rust is falling off of the casing. We're coming into a regular spaghetti bowl of wire here. The camera will push past it, and you'll see just at the bottom, or right past the camera, you'll see the pump bowl assembly, the big round thing there. That's part of it. Now today at 3:30 they fished that out, but we can't get past that because it reduces down to a 10-inch, and the pump bowl assembly is blocking the access. So all that debris is going down the bottom. Again, I have not had any access to the bottom half of the well. Goes about another 400 feet, I believe. So we're coming back up. And you remember when we were coming down, 585 was where we seen the cable. And this camera will inadvertently hook up some of that cable and drag it up. And we don't drop the cable until it gets to about 445 feet. So there's at least 150 feet plus of that cable or whatever it is. I think it's electrical cable. I would hazard a guess that somebody dropped the sump pump down there, a submersible, and didn't go after it. I don't think they told anybody because no one in their right mind would leave that stuff down there. That's all rust. And so my concern here with the rust is that I don't know how long it's been pumping into the ground storage tanks, but I do need to do an inspection on the ground storage tanks and make sure that that stuff is cleaned out before we put the thing back in service. If I put that stuff into the system, we'll clog every meter around that well. And that's not good. Those meters are $100 or $200 a piece. You can see we're pulling the cable up with us, and so it means there's a certain amount of slack in it. And it'll go all the way up to 445 feet, I believe. But the amount of rust on that 16-inch casing, it's not something that we can repair like we did on the well 3. Well 3, we were able to agitate, acid wash, and clean it. I would be very scared to wash this. The report says, the camera survey did reveal that the well to be very unstable with multiple breaks and holes in the 16-inch casing, and that's what I'm showing you here.
So, Rod, let me mention the motion on the floor, of course, right now is for $250. We don't think it's going to cost $250 to make this repair, but what this does is this documents that we are acknowledging this is an emergency repair, and whatever it's going to cost, we know we're not going to competitively bid this because it's a water well and we need to.
Is there any more? Is that it? That's it.
So whatever the number ends up being, we'll rectify it at a later meeting, but this just puts on paper and documents for us, the auditors and everybody, that we're recognizing the emergency, we're recognizing it's going to be more than 50, and we're not going to competitively bid this thing. So we're still diagnosing. We'll have, as soon as possible, a cost on a fix.
I have reached out to Past Director Danny Segundo and Past Director Jim McGraw, and Jim was able to tell me that well 1 was serviced in 1986, and well 2 was serviced in 1987. So that brings to the question. First question is, what kind of shape is well 1 in? So back to Rick's initial comments, yes, we have 3 wells. We have 1 strong one. If we can save well 2, I haven't got the report that we can. He says he can save it, but it's going to cost us a lot of money to save it. So we're going to have a well and a half. As soon as we finish with well 2, I really think we need to move to well 1 because it hasn't been serviced since 1986. This is a catastrophic failure. We were able to catch well 3 before we had a catastrophic failure, but well 1 is going to be in rough shape. So how do we fix this? We have a 16-inch surface casing. We will replace that. We'll go inside of that one with a 12-inch casing. On the bottom part of it, where the screens are, we currently have a 10-inch casing with screens. We will go down to a 6-inch. So we're basically rebuilding the well and making it smaller inside what we've got. So there'll be new concrete pack, there'll be new gravel pack down the bottom. You may have to do some development on the lower parts of it. And then we'll have choices to make. Do we put in a submersible pump, or do we go back with a motor on top and a pump in the middle? We are definitely going to have a reduced capacity, but we will not be able to determine that until we get the bottom half inspected. So long term, if I have a well and a half next year, there is a chance that we may be going into enacting our drought contingency plan where we have to restrict water use. Well 1 will have to be looked at. Now, Anna Maria gets a little nervous because all of this costs money, and I've just about run everybody out of money.
So, Council, what I just passed out talks a little bit about that.
Yes.
And so wanted to just kind of show you a snapshot of what we have. We don't know what this is going to cost yet, but if you look at the sheet up on top, and thanks to Anna Maria for helping us put this together, it's great work, and I'll just kind of talk you through it. So you know that we got the $645 from the county on the ARPA funding. So those current projects are what we know we're going to pay for, and after we pay for that, that leaves a balance of about $165,000 left. Keep in mind that we still want to do another pump at our lift station, as well as controllers for the variable speed. So that's going to eat up the rest of that 165 plus. Then you get down into our utility account and what we actually have right now, cash balance in our on our funds. You see them all broken down there, and what it amounts to is a total of 2.8, but unrestricted of that is going to be 1.647, because you've got the item. The fourth and fifth item, the $501,000, is dedicated for Dorrance. The last one is, of course, that first half of our ARPA funding, and as you know, we got that second half today. So you've got 1.647 unrestricted in your water and sewer balance. We know the projects that we have upcoming. We talked about that lift pump number 2 and the controller, which we do want to use the rest of that county ARPA money for. This $250 that we have now for Water Well 2, we don't know what that number is going to be, but we're plugging in $250 right now. We know that we're going to be working on our clarifier. That's under design right now. You can see that we think it's going to be around 2.1. We know that we have the 1.14 of ARPA, so that leaves a balance of about 960 we're going to have to find. And then, of course, Dorrance as well, which we know we're going to continue hopefully doing Dorrance, and some of that could be water and sewer money. So if you look at that second highlighted number, that 1.32, that represents what we would need to finish out the projects that are on the sheet. So really what you need to put next to each other is the 1.647 and then the 1.32 that we know that we're going to need. So you obviously don't want to draw your utility fund down to $300,000. We would never recommend that. But that just kind of show you that goes to show you that if we were able to do all of these projects and it only cost $250 to do the water well, and we were only going to use our utility funds, that you'd have a balance of about $300,000 left over. And keep in mind that we're still trying to make that utility fund solvent, right? And we've got a plan to do that, and we're working on that, but we're almost there. So we're not stacking away a bunch every year. So that's just a snapshot of where we are right now in the utility fund. And, of course, this bit of news that we got, it may be that we need other funding sources to help shore this up, because you're never going to hear staff say that you need to draw your utility fund down to $300K. So we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. May have to delay some projects. We don't know yet. But really the big linchpin is what's this going to cost, and then what's well 1 going to cost once we get to that.
What size is well 1? Is that a 12-inch?
It's the same as well 2, I believe.
What's it cost to punch a new well?
The last water well that I punched through with a 12-inch casing or 16-inch casing was $1.3 million for the cost of the well, $200,000 for engineering. In our case, if we choose to drill another water well, we'll have to do a couple of things. We'll have to get a permit through the subsidence district and WCID, and then a permit through the TCEQ. There's a very good chance that we will not be able to drill a second well on any one of our existing water well sites. We will have to acquire some land, and you'll need at least a 500-foot sanitary sewer control easement, and then you will need a distribution line from that well to either plant 3 or plant 2, which will be another $500,000. So I'm running about $2 million.
What I'm thinking is punch a new well at one and plug the old one.
Okay. The problem with punching a new well is it will take me 2 years once you tell me to go to the point in time that I can get the first gallon of water out of it.
Not necessarily. So here's where I'm going, Charlie.
Yeah, please explain that.
So go back to the county, explain to the commissioner our situation, and ask for, call it $2 million. Call it $2 million to replace well 1. We do the emergency repair on well 2 to get it up and running, and ask for the money to punch well 2, or a new one at well 1. I'm managing 2 of these projects right now, one for Kendleton and one for Beasley. We're about 6 months in. Both designers say they will have the wells punched before the end of 2024. They're taking care of all the permitting. And so if we can get the county to fund the money, and they may be looking for ways to spend that money because some of the allocations they've already done are not going to happen before the end of 2024.
I like that a lot. Thank you very much, Rick. I will take that under consideration. I saw the commissioner the other day. We didn't get into finances of money. I did ask him if we came with a project, would there be funding? And he said, it depends on what it is. And I mean, he's evasive as he could be, but still was a positive. So,
yeah, if you're coming in for revenue replacement or stuff like that,
no,
they're not going to be interested.
No. However, they also know that we're sitting here looking under the gun of Fort Bend Subsidence District, and we're kind of in a unique position. Usually when people say Meadows Place is unique, it's a really positive deal. This one's not so nice. So what I'd like to do is sit down with you and visit, make sure I've got the paragraph and a half correct, and then I'll touch base with them.
Now, Beasley and Kendleton are on the other side of the river. They're in second phase of the subsidence district stuff. But Kendleton's is a well replacement. They're punching a new well, plugging the old one. And Beasley's a new well.
Yeah, Beasley's never had running water before, unless it came out of their backyard.
So right, you're saying make repairs to well 2 and drill another well?
Make repairs to well 2. My guess is well 1's going to be in similar condition.
That's the complete unknown. If there was service at the same time, and this is a picture of what 1 looks like. And I'm not a betting man, but I'll take all your bets.
And rather than do a repair where we're going to reduce capacity at well 1, if we can get the county to come up with some additional money,
give us the funding.
We punch a new well.
So we'd have the same gallons per day capacity.
You'd ask for anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 gallons a minute. Try and make up something that you're losing in well 2.
Sounds good to me.
I like.
The bottom line is we've got one to talk about right now before we move forward.
I mean, we need to move to do these repairs because we can't be down the well.
Correct. So we've made a motion and a second, right? All right. So any further discussion?
I'm going to ask one question, and this might be a silly one, but I haven't heard it asked before. Why don't we ever consider just connecting into WCID number 2? Do they have the capacity?
No.
What's the? I mean, it's going to cost us money, but how much money?
And
I think the answer is that they don't have the capacity yet, but if we buy into it, we would be charged for it. We've made a commitment to stay with our water wells, and you made that commitment quite a number of years ago. You're now part of the GRP, which that GRP allows you to use your
groundwater reduction plan.
So, I'm sorry, groundwater reduction plan. If you move to an interconnect with WCID, you're going to have that line, that water pumped to, say, for instance, well 3, and then you'll repump it and you'll sweeten it there. The other 2 wells that you have will have to have ammonia facilities, and you will need a SCADA system to control this. So, can we do it? Yes, just costs money.
The other question is, would they have enough surface rights to actually take care of us? I mean, they've got a certain amount of surface water rights that they probably can't buy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Plus, between me and you,
it's going to eat our pipes up.
Everybody in this dang city that hadn't had their pipes adjusted is going to have to buy new pipes.
You change the chemistry of the water.
Kurt did that, because that's what it'll be. And we've looked at it. We talked to them. We've got a pretty good relationship with WCID number 2. they're not anxious for us to take any of their water.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you.
All right, so any other discussion? Okay, those we've said we want to fix the well. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Correct choice.
As soon as I get some more update, we'll provide it.
Yep, thank you very much. Next time, let us know you're going to have a movie. We'll bring popcorn. I've been anxious for that. I've seen those before, and they tell a tale. That one told a different tale than I would thought. Yeah. Okay. Item number 5, ordinance amending Public Works capital outlay, $5,600. To motion to approve by Rick, second by somebody. I think it was Kelly. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, item number 7, discussion consideration, 6. Discussion consideration resolution 2022-32, authorizing the mayor to execute change order number 2 with HDR Engineering in the amount of $16,285.52 for the installation of a temporary wooden walkway constructed of 1/4-inch or 1/2-inch plywood and skid hazard grip for Dorrance Reconstruction Project Phase 1. I think everybody understands what's going on. Right now it's dry and it's not a big issue, but we're trying to help those folks out, not only in this section, but all the other sections. Do I have a motion for approve the change order?
Motion, but I have a question after this.
Okay, got a motion.
Second.
And a second by David. Tia?
Just to be clear, we are planning to reuse these for each one of the sections, so we
Yes.
get as much use out of them as possible?
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually about $3,500 or whatever per phase.
Okay.
And the city is very nice because the county would never pay for this.
That's because we're nice people. Very compassionate council. And a very good one. So, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, council. And I want to thank, I don't know who to thank on this, on who got this moving so fast with HER to get the pricing and stuff back. But all I did was said I want a sidewalk. I must have said something right. Item number 7, discussion and consideration of resolution 2022-33, selecting a revised bridge design for the city's mobility bond project with Fort Bend County.
Well, I mean, rather than spend a lot of time on here, does anybody have a favorite right now?
Yes.
What's your favorite?
My favorite's the one that goes like this.
Okay, so
That is called the Keystone, right?
okay, so is there anybody that's going to fight for the other one? I will move. What's that?
I'm sorry. Would you like a bridge?
I don't think the Parks Director.
Now's the time to get it. All in favor of the Keystone?
I will move to. Do we need a motion or?
Oh yeah, we do.
I move to approve option 2.
All right, go ahead. Pull that pen out of that hand grenade and throw it up behind council.
So the decision tonight is just to go with that price range and that style, correct?
That style.
Okay, but we still have time to make some adjustments to that.
Are you looking
bridge.
for cosmetic adjustments or are you worried about the rail?
Cosmetic.
I would say cosmetic adjustments, just continue to work with our landscape architect. Because to me, this is really about the structure design.
The structure I'm not that concerned with. I just wanted to make sure y'all weren't deciding that bridge, the plexiglass that's in there, because that's not good to have in a park situation is the plexiglass, because over time it fogs and discolors and scratches. So I don't want to go with that, which we can take that out. I'm fine with the design of the bridge. I just want to have the opportunity to discuss the style a little bit more and maybe do some of that etching on the walkway like they did in
Get with the landscape
Option
architect,
one.
because if we take out the plexiglass, it'll probably actually be cheaper, and that'll pay for your etching.
Yeah.
And good food.
If everyone looks at the last page on the Keystone, that's how it's actually going to look with the railing, because otherwise you'd have kids falling over the edge into the edge of the bayou.
And Rick, this takes into consideration, so I talked to Transcend about that, so either one of the bridges are still, and I was reading this, as far as the foundation goes and Center Point, they both take care of the issues that we were having with them, correct?
Correct.
This doesn't have any plexiglass in it.
So I'm gonna move for option 2. Did I have a second? Okay. Going into the foundation discussion, yes, CenterPoint said we could not put any foundation work on their fee strip. We went back to the drainage district, worked out with them that rather than having the bridge low cord 1 foot above the banks, that we could just go flat
Make
with
it
the
go
banks,
out.
as long as the opening was at least as large as the opening at Dorrance. So we're not creating any kind of restriction on the water.
This is what I was looking at.
So that's not going to impact the surface elevation of the water. We're not going to hold anything back. We're not going to cause any flooding. And but it gets us out of our fight with CenterPoint. Now, what I did tell them is the east wall of the ditch has been replaced. The concrete's been replaced. The west wall concrete slope paving has not been replaced. So when we punched through it to put the foundation for the bridge, I told them to go all the way to the bottom and replace that panel.
Oh, yeah.
So that we don't have old concrete under our new bridge that's going to possibly fail. So we're not replacing the entire slope paving on the west side, but under the bridge we will.
Well, that's in these notes. Okay. So, where are we? We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the bridge? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And you have a bridge. I can't wait. Item number 8, discussion, consideration, resolution 2022-34, appointing one director to the Meadows Place 4B Economic Development Corporation for a term commencing immediately and ending December 31st, 2022. As we know, or some
So
of you
moved.
know, Cameron resigned, left an open spot.
Second.
We've got Brian Frame here, in case you're wondering who it is. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You got it.
It's getting late. Your council's getting punchy.
Congratulations, Brian. And I want to tell y'all, I'm very, very tickled. And I had a phone conversation with him today, and he tied me up in knots and wouldn't let me go. So I'm excited to see him at work for our EDC.
Yeah, and Brian, thank you for serving.
Yes. Just moving on to item 9, authorize the RFP for janitorial services. So basically, we're looking to consideration of resolution 22-35, authorizing staff to advertise for sealed competitive bids for janitorial services for city facilities within the city of Meadows Place, Texas. I have a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Motion by Kurt, second by Tia. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Consent agenda. Motion by Rick, second by Kurt. All in favor? Any opposed? That one also carries unanimously. Thank you. Item F, audience comments for matters not on the agenda. If anybody in the audience would like to address City Council, or just come in and talk to the folks watching, come on and talk now, and you get 3 minutes. So let me get my clock started. Anybody want to speak?
We got a couple pictures. So Brian Frame, 11927 Meadow Trail Lane. I want to talk about the conversation I just had with the customer, or with the mayor earlier today. Last week, the Meadows Place Pony Baseball League got a notification from the Parks and Recreations Department that the Majors Field would not be available on October 15th due to the fall festival that was going on. It does cause a major inconvenience for the league. We have to reschedule 3 games, which is about 60 families, and we're incurring an extra cost for that, and would incur an extra cost for that, and would have trouble finding additional umpires for that. Last year, we thought that there was a great synergy between the festival and the league, and would think that synergy would still be there for this year. We have interleague games scheduled on that day in which people from outside the community would be attending, and so it's good advertisement for the city itself and bring additional people in as well. And again, seeing the kids play on the this great field that we just spent $160,000 on, again, is also really, really great advertisement for the city as well. Colleen did provide us a layout of where she said things were going to be laid out and that type of thing. We took a look at that and have identified additional places where the bouncy things and that type of thing could be housed outside of the field, and would like to be able to still play the games as scheduled on October 15th instead of not being able to do that.
Your comments are duly noted. I've heard them. Council, this is ongoing conversation between our Parks Department and our baseball league. It's been going on for about a week now.
Okay.
One thing Brian and I both agreed on, I think we did, we need to improve our communication. I'm very disappointed. I know y'all are disappointed. I know my parks director is disappointed. And I'm really sorry that this is going to be, but I'm going to have to stand and back my parks director and put the whole thing up and put together, and I think everybody will agree that Colleen throws a heck of a party.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping your folks will come out there. I might suggest you ask her the contacts for the garden club, and maybe you can work with them as far as y'all's baskets and stuff, so maybe you get a bigger crowd looking at your baskets. Anything like that, Brian, I encourage you to do that. But as far as changing anything at this point, I don't see it happening.
What would be the problem with moving the bouncy houses outside of the baseball field?
This isn't on the agenda.
And we can't talk on the agenda.
Gotcha. Understood.
And that's...
But the comments period is for people to come make comments. We can talk policy and things like that. We don't debate.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyone else want to address City Council? Anybody here related to anybody? All right. Yeah. I was afraid she wasn't going to raise her hand. Okay. With that, we're closing out item F and moving on to item G. And unless I have some objections, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.